Most men avoid therapy because most therapy approaches are not designed to help the male brain deal with pain or find solutions. That makes men believe therapy is worthless, and men skip things that feel worthless. Also, male depression is usually based on feeling helpless, powerless, and unable to affect one's life or environment. Therapy models focus on helping men feel heard and loved instead of restoring their sense of personal power. Men need solutions, not just feelings.
Absolutely. And we are churning out here in the United States an overwhelming number of therapists who do not have the skills that they need or the experience that they need to provide lasting solutions that will undiagnose you in the long term. It's not that every therapist is bad. I was a therapist for years. There's many of my colleagues who are wonderful. However, the system we are doing here in America is to desperately churn out as many healthcare providers as we can because we do not have enough of them, and to focus their training in specifically on the Diagnostic and Statistics Manual so that you can treat issues. And then you're going to be coupled in with all kinds of medication, and problems are nigh unfixable because you're just medicating and triaging. So much of mental health in America is based on the medical model and endless triage management, symptom management. That's all it is for the rest of their life. And when you get a man into that system, men would rather kill themselves than sit there and say, I am disabled. I must have a medical assistance for the rest of my life. And all I can do is sit here and talk about my feelings endlessly for the next 10 years while paying $10,000 for the privilege. That is not what men are looking for. Men are looking for solutions, and they're looking for guidance in how to apply those solutions. When you give them those things, men will do just about anything for you.
Why is it a problem for therapy models to focus on helping men feel heard and loved instead of restoring their sense of personal power? Why is that something which is uniquely male, and why is that the approach that therapy models have when trying to fix men?
The brain scans show us that the male brain goes backwards to observe and then forwards to act upon it. It mostly goes like this: back, observe, forward, act. When we see a problem, we act upon that problem. That's how the male brain tends to work. The female brain tends to observe in the back and then go back and forth across the hemispheres and make a bunch of connections and process it and then think about it and pull pieces out and make deeper connections. That is often why women communicate, to process with each other, to share with each other, and they need to feel heard. They are also fairly risk averse typically, so a woman doesn't typically want to be the one who makes the final decision, but they value being heard so they can have input on a group decision that all of them, their brains go back and forth and make a decision together so that there is shared reliability and shared responsibility among the group. Men want to observe and act upon it and solve the problem. When you have a therapy model that just makes men feel heard and loved, okay, they kind of feel heard, I feel heard, and they kind of feel loved, well, I kind of feel loved. Now I feel like a useless piece of helpless garbage that other people are sitting here loving. That means they just pity me, and I am just an endless creature of pity who will never solve any problems. It almost makes them worse. Is there a point where it helps men to feel heard and loved? Absolutely. Do men not need to feel heard and loved? No, they do. But it just makes them feel like they are being pitied, and that is something men would rather die than experience for the most part.
You said as well, most therapy approaches are not designed to help the male brain deal with pain or find solutions. What's the deal with pain element? I can see the find solutions. That's the back and forth. That's I have the information. It's time for me to enact something. What about the deal with pain thing?
Most women, when they experience pain, what they will typically do is look for comfort with other people, look to share that and be nurtured as they experience the pain. Women are very adaptable. They are wonderfully adaptable. So they endure through the pain by building connections and relying on those connections. Men hate that. When men experience pain, if they then have to go and just be a burden to someone else, they feel worthless. They would rather march off into the wilderness and die, most typically. Men need to deal with pain by finding a way through it and finding a purpose through it so that they can push through that pain, push through the pain receptors, push through that and follow that mission. If you do that, men can go through the pain and put it in its place because they no longer feel helpless against the pain. There is a reason for enduring the pain. That's what men need.
Can you tell that story about the Blitz in World War II again?
Yeah, so there's research that shows through the Blitz in World War II, psychiatric hospitalized men who were comatose, they would sit there, they were just miserable, wretchedly miserable. But when things started happening around them and society needed them, when the bombs started going off, when everything happened, they were needed. All of a sudden, they had a reason to get up and go do something. And that impelled them to pull out of their pain, out of their struggle, out of everything, and go do what they were supposed to do. It is the same thing as a depressed man who is finally called up to do something and goes and does it in his family, in his life. Men who are low and low and low, and then they find out that the woman in their life is carrying their child, and all of a sudden it sparks a difference in him, right? He stops drinking. He cleans himself up. Same experience. I will endure the pain for the sake of my family, my country, my people, my whatever it may be. Here is my chance to rise up and make this change. That is what men are built for.
Does the fact that a man with a strong enough why can bear any how, which is a nice synopsis, I guess, of what you're sort of touching on there, does this explain why modern men are so insecure? That there is a massive lack of purpose, relationships around them. We have more childless men than ever. We have no intergenerational, pan-generational homesteads anymore. There is a lack, at least in the West, of patriotism, of nationalism. First off, why are modern men so insecure? And then secondly, how does what we've just spoken about play into that?
So many of the men who come into my coaching program are lacking what I call human impact. They have no ability to create human impact in their life. That's what a legacy is the lasting human impact that endures after your death. It does not have to be biological children, although that's one of the easiest ones to point at and create. It can be adopted children. It can be mentored people that you help. It can be people you rescue. It can be an organization that you build. A human impact is the purpose of a man's life, because someday you will die, you will be dust, your money will be frittered away and taken through taxes and all kinds of things. Your property will be divvied up. Your everything you've cared for in your life will be taken away. The only thing that endures is the future generations who are fundamentally altered because of your existence on this planet. That is the purpose of a man's life. That is why so many men want to kill themselves now, is because they find no purpose and no ability to create human impact.
Why would it be adaptive for a man to have that? Or how do women and their life goals and purpose differ from that?
It's funny because many women, and I've worked with tons of these women, they have much the same purpose. Women are much more adaptable, but they want to be useful to the people in their life and help enhance those people's lives so they can go out and live and thrive. Women are about helping other people thrive. Men are about changing the course of other people's life, if you want to look at it that way. Women can find that purpose just about anywhere, helping just about anybody. As long as they have usefulness, women can be very happy. If they are loved and feel useful to the people that they love, that's when most women are okay, and they can endure. They can crawl over broken glass. But they aren't looking for the overall life-changing creation that men are looking for. They're looking for enduring and helping people endure and nurture them as they go.
Whereas men are capable, mission, powerful.
Absolutely. That's what men are looking for.
What's happening, people? If you enjoyed that, then press here for the full, unedited episode. And don't forget to subscribe. Peace.